Hello, dear friends. In this episode, I will discuss 2 effective mental strategies to overcome fear. Personally, I have never considered fear as a completely negative emotion. When I was a young student, I was sometimes afraid, what if I am not able to get a good job? When I grew up, this fear had kept me motivated to study hard. There was a time I was developing chronic physical ailments because I was neglecting my health. It was the fear of contracting a major illness that almost pushed me to start practicing yoga, meditation, and deep breathing. So now, when I look back, I can clearly see that fear has indeed played a positive role in my life. I feel financially stable with my job. Fear of illness has motivated me to take the necessary action that has improved my health so much that I no longer have to depend on medicines. Now, it is only when fear goes out of proportion and begins to take over our mind that the real trouble begins. Excessive fear can paralyze our thinking process to such an extent that we may lose the ability to think logically, practically, and even positively. So now I'll straight away move on to those 2 effective and powerful mental strategies that can help you to overcome your fear. Here we go. Number 1, sit with your fears and face them. If you avoid and suppress your fear, it may pop up now and then and scare you more. When it comes to a practical problem at hand or an impending crisis that is making you feel afraid, it is the best thing to sit with your fear and face them in your mind. When you face your fear and go till the end by imagining the worst possible situation in your mind, the elements of shock and panic begin to diminish, because anything that is sudden and unimagined has the power to hit you off balance. Whereas when your mind is prepared for the worst, a sense of understanding and preparedness develops. Suppose you can anticipate your boss is thinking of firing you. Maybe it will be a very distressful incident to happen to you that you fear or dread. But if you acknowledge your fear and face the reality of the situation, you will start planning in your mind what moves you might take next in case you lose your job. In an extreme situation, there are instances when facing even a phobia has actually set a person free from the very phobia itself. Since my childhood, I had suffered from hematophobia, fear of blood. I would faint at the sight of blood oozing out of a wound of mine or anyone else. Much later on, when I had become a teacher at school, once I had to rush a student to the hospital who had suffered a deep cut on his hand while playing. He was bleeding profusely and he required stitches. Seeing the bloody hand, I was constantly feeling dizzy, as if I could faint any moment. And when I reached the emergency ward of the hospital, I saw the worst bloody scene of my life. A man was lying on a stretcher, screaming wildly. His right foot was lying cut off from his right leg in 2 pieces on a pool of blood. A bus had run over his leg. Seeing that, I could faint any moment. But what kept me restrained was my responsibility as a teacher at that moment. If I faint, what will happen to my bleeding student? Somehow, I survived the entire episode, though I was so much under pressure. But It was on that day my mind became strong enough, and since then, my phobia, the fear of blood, left me forever. So, through this example, I want to point out that if you can afford to face your fear or in extreme situation of phobia without stretching yourself beyond a certain limit, then that encounter has the potential to heal you and set you free from the phobia itself. Number 2, talk about your fears to a near one. Too much of living inside the head can detach you from the regular, practical aspects of life. Even your mind begins to create impossible, scary situations that are very much far away from reality. So, do talk about your fears to a friend or a close one, because it can help you in 2 ways. First, your mind and ego tries to magnify your fear with the impression that you are the chosen one who is about to encounter the most unique fearful situation where others have never ever undergone such an experience before. But when you discuss your fear with your friend, the very act of getting out of your head and speaking it out shatters the aura of privacy and importance your mind has built around your fear. In the process, your friend may end up sharing his or her own fears with you. That can make you realize that experiencing fear is, after all, an essential human condition where you are not alone. Sharing your fear demystifies the sense of importance your mind has built around your fear. Secondly, sharing your fear can invite solutions too. There are so many instances when I have shared my fears with my friends or my sister, and quite unexpectedly, they had turned up with very helpful and innovative solutions. So sharing your fears will not only provide you with the relief of unburdening, but also invite a fresh perspective from someone beyond you who can objectively see through your fear as an observer and may even turn up with a helpful remedy too. The last thing I can't help but add is, if all our worst fearful imaginations had come true, we are supposed to be dead by now, right? So, let go and surrender. Say to yourself, come what may, I relax and surrender. Feel these words and repeat them when fear tries to overpower you. At the end of the day, we are such tiny little beings in this vast cosmos, in this vast infinite existence. Trust life, trust the universe, trust the existence. Everything will work out for your ultimate good. So trust, let go, and surrender. I hope this discussion will help you to go beyond your fears. I'll be back with more episodes on mental and emotional well-being very soon. Dear friends, take good care of your body and take very good care of your mind. Have a beautiful day.